First off, I have no idea what anybody talking about when it comes to what just happened with Joe Budden and Hoffa, and he's sitting there in that barber chair. Why do they keep inviting Joe Budden? Joe Budden is not hot. Like, what is going on right now? Like, that's not gonna get a good buzz. Joe's gonna have to go run back to DJ Academics, do his interview where somebody can kiss his ass. That's it. Joe Budden, his show is dry now. It has dried up like a cocoa bean. The only thing that kept Joe afloat is because Joe was always in the midst of some controversy. He would always say something. The fact that he was actually an artist in the industry. So most of these rappers he know or knew at some point. He used to go to these events. So he had something to speak about and stand on because he knew the majority of the people and these artists, and by doing Love and Hip Hop, he's surrounded by these people. He knows how this business works. So that's what he used to bring to the table. Now, he's the old bitter man. Hating on young people business. Now, everyone knows Hoffa from the podcast Freestyle Battle. He's a battle rapper. A battle rapper. He's going to ask you questions that was relevant to the target. So while he was sitting in the chair, it's like he did not know, once again, somebody was going to ask him about Eminem. Hoffa, who is a battle rapper, I don't get it. I really don't get why people are sitting here trying to defend Joe Budden and all this. Listen, Joe Budden, this is what he do. For those who don't know, this is what Joe do. Joe goes out without rhyme or reason. He goes out, right? Joe Budden, the artist. He goes out and he makes a whole bunch of nothing content. If you invite Joe Budden to your show and you got a podcast, if you have a podcast, Joe is going to F up your program. It doesn't do anything for him to be there. So if your podcast is hot and he's on it, he's going to trash it. He's going to be the worst guest you've ever had. On purpose. And then you're not going to say, man, like, why would he do that on my platform? He's there to mess your platform up. He's not trying to get your people to come follow him. He's on there to basically make a mess of it and then make a mockery of you having him on the show. That's how much of a hater Joe Budden is. Why do people not see this? It's like, when is he done? When has he ever done someone else's platform and it's been good? Or been a good interview? He did the same thing with tax. Joe did the same thing with tax, though. You remember that? Why is anybody surprised this just happened? This is his MO. Wow. It's going to get even weirder. Mav Hoffa asked him what? Why you didn't come and diss Eminem? Huh? Why didn't he diss Eminem? His claim is like, I wasn't out there at that time. Right? I wasn't out there like that in the streets. So for me to get, that wasn't a bar to make me get up and do what I had to do. I felt like that bar was just weak, and there was no need for me to get out of bed for that Joe Budden bar. That don't motivate me to get out of bed. That don't get Joe's attention. You know, but instead of going there, he turns the interview on Mav Hoffa for basically asking the question. You know, like, seriously? Mav Hoffa is not like letting him off. Like, dude, you are a battle rapper. Like, this is what you do. So, why didn't you respond back to Eminem? You made like 4 Drake diss songs. We only heard like 2. And you were still dissing Drake, and you wasn't out there then at the time then. You wasn't really in the streets. But I guess you was like at the end of it at that time, but it was like that's all you were going to get was a line or a bar from Drake. You're like non-existent for him to go back and forth with in the game. You know, you're known mostly for loving hip-hop and what you're doing now. Nobody really know you from Pump It Up. Well, the moral of the story is this. Joe Budden has come up with excuse after excuse for basically doing what he was doing. But the reason why is because he feared the ramifications in what he was doing. He knows Eminem and how they move behind the scenes. He's more fearful of that. That's what he's more fearful of. So everything he was doing was talking in circles. Talking about, Mav, why are you talking about other men? You know, you want to know about other men. Dude, that's what you talk about every day. On your show is other men. So what the hell are you talking about? You did a damn near 3, he dropped what, 3 bars, maybe about Joe? And you did a 3-hour podcast, but wouldn't make a 3-minute song. You did a 3-hour podcast show roasting Eminem. Your largest show to date. Then you go up there and you act like it ain't worth asking me about Eminem. You gave this man damn near 3-hour rant. Okay? It was weird. Joe's energy was controversial as usual, confrontational, as usual. This is what he do. He's trying to act like he don't remember when Eminem said, "How do you forget when you're angry?" See, the thing is, there are other podcast shows out now. It's oversaturated. The market is crazy with people just starting a podcast. Then you got people on a podcast starting a podcast. The people on Joe podcast got a podcast. And it's better than Joe's. Rory and Maul's show is better with than Joe Budden's show right now. I don't care if Joe's talking about the numbers. Look at the numbers. I'm looking at the full numbers, Joe. You see, anybody can get a hit. Anybody, that's about distribution. But if I see that people are listening more and longer to this show than listening to your show, that's telling me the people that do watch, they're interested. The people that listen to your show, most of it's paid promotion. And then after a certain time, they drop off. Same thing here with videos. People know who's doing what. Now, Joe ain't scared of Eminem lyrically. He's afraid of the backlash now that he got something to lose. See, when Joe had nothing to lose, that's easy to go after someone when you got nothing to lose. See, the thing is, the reason why nobody really responded to Joe and he was doing all that, because it was nothing worth it. You know, why am I helping that guy out? Who was he? Joe was forced into retirement. Well, he ruined it. He ruined it. But that was Joe. That's what he do. If his rap career was taking off, believe me, he wanted to be a rapper more than a podcaster. He didn't want to have a job where he's required to get up to do work. He loved being a rapper. He loved doing that life. Then when the podcast was taking off and they was doing it, having a thing where people could come meet the Joe Budden podcast and it was blowing up, he jumped all the way up with excitement. He was like, this is the biggest thing ever. Then next thing you know, he started rocking these Amiri hats. And that's when Maul was like, I was just like, man, when did this happen? Now me, people hate me because I keep it 100% on Eminem. People think I hate Eminem. No. I was one of the biggest fans of Eminem when he first came out. But on the Patreon, you will get, oh my God, we have got the realest situation alive. Because we have things that you've never heard about that situation finna hit on the Patreon. So this is going right into that. So by the time y'all saw this video, y'all probably saw the live stream I did on the Patreon last night that revealed a whole lot of it about what went down. Some things that you didn't know about Eminem. Eminem lawyers are probably 100% finna sue my ass again as soon as I end that video. So a lot of people are gonna think I hate Eminem. No, I hate Eminem's new music, or the new Eminem, or whatever the Eminem that existed 10 years ago. It started about 10 years ago, and it started the downward train of Eminem just being lost. There's like nothing into the music whatsoever. He started doing all of these alternative music, and I'm just like, what the hell is this? I mean, it was music videos I had never heard or seen before with Eminem in it. And their songs were god awful. I'm like, this is a real video. I'm thinking some fan made this video. This is Eminem. And I'm like, what the hell? This is an Eminem video. What the hell is this? It was this bad. And I'm like, this is what his music sound like? I mean, you know, they got those video jukebox things, like the music in the bars. People were coming in, you know, and mostly there's predominantly white people out here. They're playing Eminem music. And I turn around and the Eminem songs come on. And I'm like, what the hell? That sound like Eminem voice. And I'm like, this song is god awful. What is this? And then I was like, well, let me go look at that playlist so I can see what the hell this is, so I can know never to listen to it again. And sure enough, it was some Eminem song, and it was called what the hell? Spacebound. That's what it was, Spacebound. Then I saw Darkness. Then I saw the weird When I'm Gone. When I'm gone, I'm horn. And I'm like, oh my God. Then you know how I felt about Venom. So it was a stirropot of just uselessness in music. That's all alternative, walking down the road, and it's just god awful. But he was lost. What was gone is the Eminem that was free to just make the music how he wanted to make it and make it sound like how they wanted it to sound. Back when he first was out there rapping with D12, and he was doing Infinite and all those different type of songs that he had that was out there when he was battling guys named Milkbone. You know, it was different at that time. Yeah, on the Patreon I go pretty hard on Eminem because it's more of a disappointment with him than anything, because it's not about his ability to rap. We know Eminem can rap. That's not the problem. The problem is you conformed to what they wanted you to do. Out of fear, you conformed. You basically sat back and they used you. They milked in the people and they used you to turn them into something else. They used you as the vehicle. But you weren't the guy that they were going to use to get this done. They had the guy already that they needed to run this the way they wanted to. Because you don't have the complexion to get that done. They had to have the guy with the complexion. And they've already done that. We talk about that on the Patreon, of course. But I ain't going to go too far into this. But the Patreon version was way more severe. Killshot was Eminem's response, and it was the way he should have responded. But when people start hearing certain things like, I felt like, man, that was risky. What Eminem did and Killshot was risky. What he wanted to do was to rap, do what Jadakiss did, and basically do something where no one could take the beat, rap on it, and come back and respond. So he knew MGK could not return with Killshot and rap on that beat. He wouldn't know how to do that. That's not a MGK type of beat that he would use to come back on. So that's what Jadakiss did when he did, because they basically dissed him on his own beat with Knock Yourself Out. And in that whole thing, in that whole basically first verse, Beanie Siegel is using lines of Jadakiss. He's basically taking Jadakiss songs that are not really released yet to the public. These were songs that were supposed to be on his first album that was left off the album because it was delayed, pushed back, and people had bootlegged some of his songs like Flow. All the things that he was saying in these earlier rhymes, that Beanie Siegel was listening to these songs. You know, like he thought he was another member of the Lox, the way Kiss used to rap and flow. So he was just stealing all the stuff from those songs and putting them in his own rhyme on Jadakiss beat. So it made it difficult for him. He's like, okay, if I drop a song, they're going to respond to it. So what I'm going to do is diss you on a disco beat, which I never hear. Beanie Siegel can't flow to this. He wouldn't know how. So when it first came out, I said, this is interesting. Because I never thought Eminem to do that. I never looked at him as somebody that would do that. I said, man, that's interesting. Now, what made it even more surprisingly interesting is the fact that what made it more surprisingly interesting, in other words, is the fact that Eminem used a couple of different styles and techniques in the rap to basically sun somebody. And this was the first time Eminem has been in a position. Well, he's already been in position, but somebody younger than him has really gotten the upper hand on him. So he has to come in and sun somebody with his career. That's never really happened before. So to listen to Eminem do that in the style that he did it, because this is a fan of him that's taking him down. And Eminem didn't realize what that meant, is that he lost. He lost. Once Machine Gun Kelly dropped that song, And I remember when we were initially listening to Eminem's Response song, and I said, well, I can tell you one thing. Kill Shot's not going to age well. This isn't going to be a hit 'em up. They're going to spend all their money at Interscope to promote this thing on YouTube. They're going to try to boost this thing to the moon, make it the highest streamed video in YouTube's history, which is trash. Nobody was listening to Kill Shot like that past the first day. That was it. First time listen, then it was like, gone. When MGK came out with that bowl of cereal and he debuted that as a video, it didn't drop as a single first. It came right out as a music video. Wow. That beat was hard, and he was hitting Eminem with nothing but facts. And he was responding back to Eminem, who did Not Alike. And Not Alike was great with Royce. So all MGK was doing was responding. But his response was so valid, with points. All the things, that's what made that song better. That's what made it. It was all valid. Of all the BS you've been doing behind the scenes, the reason you got up and grabbed that microphone and responded, Eminem, is because you knew it was true. And you said, man, he's put a spotlight on me and brought me into the light. Now I gotta respond. Why am I trying to stop this guy from feeding his daughter? When I cried about, that's all I was trying to do, was feed my daughter. Now I'm sitting here stopping another man from doing it. I look ridiculous. I'm damn near 50 and I'm doing this to somebody who was in their 20s. What am I doing? You should go back to the songs you made a decade ago. They were better. All you do is read the dictionary and stay inside. That's what he does. I mean, that's what I'm trying to tell people. Like, it would take a greater fan of you to defeat you. This is what Tupac said. He said, I was a greater fan of all of those guys so I could defeat them. They couldn't take me down because I was a fan of them. I know them probably better than they know themselves. So I could take them down. It's hard for them to take me down because they barely know anything about me. They wouldn't know how to strike. They wouldn't know how to attack. So that's why Pac always felt like he was in the driver's seat with most of these rappers like Ice Cube, Cool J, all them. He's like, man, I was a fan of these dudes. Like, I know these dudes. You know, like, they couldn't do it. Now, gracefully, I think that Eminem is a great rapper, period. The way he compounds lyrics, the way he comes from the school and the artistry, he understands it. He knows what to do. He is a better rapper than MGK. Everybody knows that. But this wasn't a case of that, was it? It was a case of, you did something, I'm calling you out on it. And his response was something else that we're going to talk about later on the Patreon. Because we're going to go into the offices and what was happening out there. The public was having their back and forth. But believe me, the offices was having an even more different situation. And we're going to get into that when we get on the Patreon. Tell you, we going to bring it. We're bringing it, buddy. Because it's going to get really, really, really chilly outside in the summer. The hotter it get outside, the colder it's going to get on the Patreon. That's what it seemed to always happen. But I'm going to end this video. We've been going on for a minute. Yeah, if you want to know about Joe Budden and all that stuff, just go fast forward back to the beginning now. For you guys who missed it, we've already covered Joe. And just like that, people have forgotten Joe again. Oh, yes. Thank you for everybody who super chatted and hit up my cash out, which is Carcino. God bless all of y'all, as usual. And I won on the money betting, and I'm on fire now. So we'll see. Whoa! What the? Whoa! What the fuck? Huh? How? What? Whoa! Hold up. Serious? Huh? What the? Ooh. What the fuck?